Good afternoon. I'm the Reverend Julianne Lepp. Today we honor, celebrate, and remember Trent Jacobs. Today we call on love, perseverance, and the relationships that have held Trent and all those who have loved him and known him as we celebrate his life today.
My name is Megan Fucile, and if you would please join me in reading the words in your order of service for lighting the chalice. We light this chalice, which transforms wax into pure light and warmth, to remind us of our own living, transforming the stuff of this world. Grief, healing, from memory, wholeness, and from celebration to love.
I have several readings, not just for Shel Silverstein. The first one is from his sister. Serenia was 12 years old when Trent was born. And she wrote this: "My brother is 4 months old. He's real cute. His ears stick out from his head too. He has very dark brown eyes and some brown hair. He laughs and plays. He even stands up if you hold his hand. But sometimes, if he just won't shut up, he can cry for hours, and he's so loud, I think he could drown out the marching band if he wanted to. But he's okay." After, she became not just a sister, but a friend, a mentor, and a protector. Now, Shel Silverstein. He'd asked me to read from Shel Silverstein. The first one's called Woulda, Coulda, Shoulda. All the woulda, coulda, shouldas laying in the sun, talking about the things they woulda, coulda, shoulda done. But those woulda, coulda, shouldas all ran away and hid from one little did. Trent did. Pancakes. Imagine a 6-foot-tall stack of pancakes. That's what's in the picture. Who wants pancakes, sweet and piping hot? Good little Grace looks up and says, "I'll take the one on top." Who else wants a pancake, fresh off the griddle? Terrible Teresa smiles and says, "I'll take the one in the middle." Now they celebrate breakfast with pancakes almost every Sunday. Hug-a-war. I will not play at tug-of-war. I'd rather play at hug-a-war, where everyone hugs instead of tugs, where everyone giggles and rolls on the rug, where everyone kisses and everyone grins and everyone cuddles and everyone wins. He had the best hugs. Happy ending. There are no happy endings. Endings are the saddest part. So just give me a happy middle and a very happy start. The middle of his life is what we remember. Somebody has to. Somebody has to go polish the stars. They're looking a little bit dull. Somebody has to go polish the stars, for the eagles and starlings and gulls have all been complaining they're tarnished and worn. They say they want new ones we cannot afford, so please get your rags and your polishing jars. Somebody has to go polish the stars. Trent and his brother and sister are busy doing that. And this one was sent to me, and it's dated the day before Trent passed away. And it's by Rosemary. I have no idea who this person is. And her name is spelled with an M-E-R-R-Y. Mother and son. Briefly, you were taller than I, tall enough that when we hugged, my head rested against your chest. Your body leaned from going so fast. My body remembers now how it felt when you gathered me in long, slender arms, the way I had once cradled you. It is not the same as to be held by your absence. No warmth, no scent. Still, I let myself be held by what is here. My heartbeat, but my own. But oh, the love is still growing. I love you, Trent.
My name is Chuck Erickson, and this is Words by John Donahue. Though we need to weep your loss, you dwell in that safe place in our hearts where no storm or night or pain can reach you. Your love was like the dawn, brightening over our lives, awakening beneath the dark a further adventure of color. The sound of your voice found for us a new music that brightened everything. Whatever you unfolded in your gaze quickened in the joy of its being. You placed smiles like flowers on the altar of the heart. Your mind always sparkled with wonder at things. Though your days here were brief, your spirit was alive, awake, complete. We look towards each other no longer from the old distance of our names. Now you dwell inside the rhythm of breath, as close to us as we are to ourselves. Though we cannot see you with outward eyes, we know our soul's gaze is upon your face, smiling back at us from within everything, to which we bring our best refinement. Let us not look for you only in memory, where we would grow lonely without you. You would want us to find you in presence, beside us when beauty brightens, when kindness glows, and music echoes eternal tones. When orchids brighten the earth, darkest winter has turned to spring. May this dark grief flower with hope in every hearth that loves you. May you continue to inspire us to enter each day with a generous heart to serve the call of courage and love.
I've got a wingman over there, just in case. He's over there. I just wanted to just say thank you for all the people that are here. Can you all hear me in the back? You guys good? Okay. I do tend to be quiet, so that's why I ask. To have this room full of friends, family, and colleagues means a lot to me, and it means a lot to Trent's memory. And I appreciate all of you being here with us. In a tribute from a bassoon colleague of Trent's, whose name is Nadina, she stated that Trent held back cancer for 7 years. I believe that is actually the best way to describe it. A lot of people talk about cancer as a fight and a battle, which it is that also. But it's as if he said, okay, I see you, but I refuse to let you steal my joy. I refuse to let you prevent me from doing the things that I love. I have recitals to plan. I have students to teach. I have kids to raise. I am not going to let you be in charge here. Obstacles were simply a problem-solving exercise for Trent. One of my favorite examples of this, and there are many, but this one was back in May of 2004. Trent came to visit me for my senior recital. We had spent a year long distance and we were excited to see each other. What I did not know, however, was that he was planning on proposing to me that evening. And while he was on his way, he hit something in the road, and it bashed his tire, bent the rim, and then he was stuck in the middle of nowhere, Wisconsin, in his suit, no less, trying to figure out what he was going to do next. I think that some other people might have said, "Oh man, this is a bad omen. This is the wrong girl. I'm out. No, I'm out. Peace." But no, he didn't believe in those things. And of course, a gentleman came along, helped him put a spare on, got him down the road to his buddy's shop, got his car fixed up, and he wasn't even that late. He missed my rehearsal, but we still made it to the dinner reservation on time. Once he had a vision or an idea in his head, there was absolutely no stopping him, which is why I thought for a while that I had married a crazy person. When he started making bassoon pickups, I mean other times too, but I spent quite a lot of time looking skeptically in his direction. And sighing when he brought home yet another guitar pedal. And of course that was one, he traded that though. He didn't buy it, he traded it for another one. So the bassoon pickups ultimately created an incredible sound unlike anything I had ever heard. And he absolutely loved creating and performing music, and he loved everyone that was a part of making his vision come to life. If you knew Trent well, you knew that he loved you because he probably told you so many times. And he was unashamed to tell you so. He was unashamed to hug you and tell you that he loved you. "I love you, man. I love you." He was also invested in the people he loved and the things that they loved. Serenia, our daughter, wanted to start violin, and he jumped in with both feet in the Suzuki program at Augsburg, even though none of us really knew what the heck we were doing. He supported me from my work from home, made sure I had a good standing desk and a good chair. Like, who does that? And then, helped me test out new flutes and making sure I got the one I really wanted. He sat by the piano with Edwin as he started learning, ran alongside both kids as they started riding bikes. I could go on, as I'm sure you all could as well. His love and childlike enthusiasm for life seeped into everyone around him. I feel its presence almost everywhere I go. In the apple trees he meticulously planted in our yard, after he cut the cable line, by the way. The maple trees in our yard that he tapped for syrup, taking up every one of our burners for days on end to boil the sap down so that we would have syrup for our pancakes from our tree. We didn't need to buy it for a while, you're right. And don't get me started on the ridiculous amount of coffee brewing mechanisms we possess. I don't even know what half of them do. But look, every smile and every laugh from our beautiful kids, in the music we listen to, in our exchanges with one another, I can see it. I can see his love because I know what I'm looking for. So I wanted to close with a video. There are a lot of videos out there to choose from, but I chose one of my favorites. It's with his band called Northern Darling. Where are my Northern Darling? Are there Northern Darling? Yes! Okay, my Northern Darling people are here. I loved this band so much because they were so much fun. And it also showcases not only the tricks he could do with the electronic bassoon, but how the bassoon is part of the band. That was really what it was all about, was trying to play and collaborate with people and make awesome music together. So this tune is one of my favorites called Do It Right. Hope you enjoy it. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Chad Kuiper. When you've been friends with someone since 6th grade, your friendship becomes more than a reason to catch up over a beer when you're back in town. It becomes a repository for a mountain of inside jokes, for shared teenage memories that can be called up with a single phrase, and for a library of memories shared by just you two. And that is what I had with Trent. I met Trent at Willow Creek Middle School in Owatonna, Minnesota. We were a couple of nerds who were too smart for our own good, and whose shared love of music in all its forms was just starting to ignite. Trent was my first sleepover friend. Long after the lights went out, we would stay up talking, you name it, first crushes, computer games, board games, so many games, books, teachers, movies, what we wanted to do with our lives. And then, because we were in 7th grade, we would fall asleep mid-sentence. And then in the morning, Trent would sit bolt upright, go out of bed, and make scrambled eggs, which was a talent that blew me away as a culinarily clueless 7th grader. We navigated the rocky rapids of adolescence and high school together. I fell in love with classical piano, but such a, shall we say, specific pursuit can be very isolating. Like, what do you mean this recording of Rachmaninoff's Etude Tableau didn't blow your whole world away? Trent and I never had to explain ourselves to each other. We always just got each other. And he got me. In college, Trent found his people, the musicians, whom I consider the magicians of this world, as we just saw. And he found his person, who I am so lucky to call a friend of mine too. It's no surprise to me at all, not at all, that he became a teacher, bottling up all that talent, all that intellect, all that passion. It would have been like putting a supernova in a mason jar. The day of his passing, I just sat in front of my laptop and watched the tributes pour in from all over social media, from all over our digitally connected world. I reeled at the number of lives that he touched, not in surprise, but I also railed that this world will never know a Trent in his later years. What an injustice. Anyone in his orbit for the last 7 years is familiar with the relentless, shape-shifting cruelty of the cancer that he battled with grace, optimism, jaw-dropping attention to detail. On 2 separate hospital visits, I watched a nurse come into his room and say, "All right, Trent. Trent? Yes, good. We're going to give you," and then he just finished her sentence for her, and then listed all of the effects of the drug he was about to take, and then all the possible side effects, and then how that was going to counteract with other things. And twice, I watched her go from being impressed to just... And twice, I heard the nurse say, "That is word for word what I was going to say." Sheer mule-headedness. That is what he brought to the last 7 years. Anyone close to his family stands in utter awe of the strength of his wife, Sarah, and his 2 amazing kids, Serenia and Edwin. I will be fans of the 2 of you my entire life. What cancer did to Trent's body was merciless and harrowing to witness. I think that's important to recognize. But it was also powerless, completely impotent when it came to 2 things: Trent's mind and spirit, which were strong as steel to the very last, and the love that Trent and Sarah had for each other, which we all saw firsthand when they renewed their vows last April. Cancer was less than 0 when it came to those 2 things. It was like a piece of wet spaghetti thrown at a brick wall. The example that Trent and Sarah gave us is one I will carry with me for a very, very long time. Incidentally, Trent and Sarah's wedding had maybe my favorite moment from any of the ceremonies I've been fortunate enough to be invited to. Trent, the unflappable Trent Jacobs, was overcome with emotion halfway through reading his vows. I don't know if I have this right, Sarah, but I have a memory of Sarah. Put the ring on the wrong finger. Trent was falling apart up there. Oh my gosh, what a gift he gave us that day. Like, it was, I remember Sarah making it through the vows and just kind of, it was one of those very classy, like, oh my goodness. And we're all standing there and sitting in the sunshine and smiling. Trent gets halfway through and falls apart. But it was those sobs that were so just comically big and disruptive that they instantly transition into laughter, because your whole body is just erroring out. Like, we're laughing, we're crying, we don't know what we're doing. And so it was those kinds of laughs that just overtook the entire company like a tsunami. There is a picture from this ceremony where, like, Sarah has her hands clasped in front of her, Trent is like wiping his tears, and every single person is just laughing, just throttled by joy. Any of the awful things this family has had to endure for the last 7 years were just powerless against that mix of love and laughter that suffused their entire marriage. For me, spending time with Trent was to fully enjoy the present moment while also being able to dart in and out of the distant past. He gave us superpowers. We were time travelers, the two of us. He was fiercely loyal to me. And for the 32 years I knew him, he was completely, wholly, unfailingly himself. A friendship like that, a person like that, is a miracle in miniature. I'll miss you, buddy. Thank you for being my friend.
To be in the third spot, I don't know. I'm going to share with you some photos today. The many faces of Trent Jacobs. For many of you here today, you know Trent in various ways. For me, my relationship with Trent started over 30 years ago. I've had this photo of Trent on my bedroom dresser for as long as I can remember. This is the face that comes to mind first when I think of Trent. When I look at him, I'm reminded of the young Trent that I met when he was around 10 years old. Trent and I met through the Big Brother Big Sister program. Trent had recently moved unexpectedly to Owatonna from Ohio with his mom to live. From the first time we met, our lives would be intertwined for over 30 plus years. We would share many milestones from dating, marriages, children, and more. I am beyond blessed to have taken the chance in saying yes to the recruitment person from Big Brother Big Sister. It changed my life. One of Trent's biggest cheerleaders was his mom. To Marcia's credit, she wanted Trent to be well-educated and involved in the community. She sought out resources like Big Brother Big Sister. She helped to help Trent on his journey. Trent even had the opportunity to attend Concordia College language camp for a week or two, where he was immersed in the Norwegian culture, learning the language. As I reflect on the photo of Trent, I'm reminded of his wonderful smile. Trent had a great smile with dimples in his cheeks. This photo was taken the first night of camping at a camp in northern Minnesota. Part of our goal through Big Brother Big Sister was to just have fun. Trent and I did our best to find things to have fun at. We tried throwing a baseball, throwing a frisbee, but neither of us were very good at these things. We did have a lot of fun going places like Valley Fair, State Fair, movies, Renaissance Fair, and more. Trent, from early on, had a real gift for music. He seemed to be able to pick up just about any instrument and play it. He used to remind me of a story of his first guitar. It was an acoustic guitar that I had owned. With the best of intentions, I wanted to learn to play it. However, I quickly realized that I wasn't going to be able to figure it out. So I lent it to Trent. He figured it out right away, and the rest is history. A few years ago, he returned that guitar back to me. It is something that I will most likely never learn to play, but will treasure for years to come. While in Owatonna, Trent participated in many pickup bands, choirs, theater, and more. In talking with his fifth grade teacher, Mrs. Olson, she vividly remembers Trent and his classmates from that year. I'm not sure if you were part of that class. That I'm in 5th grade, probably not. 6th is when you met. She talked about how they were ready to take on the world with many different causes or initiatives that they wanted to start. As I spend time with Serenia and Edwin, I can see many of those same traits in them. The next photo that I brought to share is from December 2022, just a year and a half ago. My wife and I had the opportunity to come to Eau Claire to hear a bassoon recital by Trent. I'm a person that likes music, but I have to be honest and confess. The idea of listening to a 2-hour classical bassoon recital on a Friday night after working all day would be a stretch for me. Sorry to anybody that's, yeah. I was pleasantly surprised by an entirely different experience. When we arrived at the Pablo Center for the performance, I was amazed to see a standing room only venue. These people were excited to be here and really looking forward to the music. I have to admit that I found myself absolutely moved by the performance. Trent worked with a variety of musicians to put a program together. I believe that it was a jazz performance for the bassoon. The music was mesmerizing. For me, it was a time that I got to witness firsthand the face of Trent adulting. I still remember a tear or two streaming down my face as I watched him work his magic with the bassoon. During that recital, there was a group of Trent's students in the row in front of us. I found myself watching them and their interaction with Trent. These students hung on his every word. They found great value in his performance and what he was teaching them through the recital. Trent loved to share his music with others, but I think that he even liked teaching more. That evening was an inspiring evening for me, one that I will never forget. In the spring of 2023, the Music Boosters of Owatonna, Minnesota recognized Trent Jacobs with the Owatonna Music Hall of Fame Award. I believe that Trent is one of the youngest recipients of that prestigious honor. This award has been given to musicians like Harry Wenger, founder of the Wenger Music Company. I challenge you to find a theater or music room that doesn't have a piece of equipment from the Wenger family. Or Roger Tenney, a choral director who was also a recipient of the U.S. National Teacher of the Year Award and given the chance to have his choir perform before President Johnson in Washington, D.C. at the White House Rose Garden. This is the type of company that Trent is keeping with this award. Very well-deserved recognition. The last photo, and for me probably the most important face that I have had a chance to see in Trent, is that of a family man. Both husband and father. These were titles he took seriously. Sarah was the light of his life. In their short number of years together, they truly gave us an example of unconditional love. Sarah, you were a gift for Trent. As you talked about in your presentation, Trent was a type A person with a strong sense of where he wanted to go in life. You helped encourage him along the way and helped to make many of his dreams a reality, while at the same time helping him to stay grounded. This was a delicate dance, to be sure. For sure. I love this photo of Trent with his children, Serenia and Edwin. They meant everything to Trent. He wrapped himself around them even as he was facing the challenges of cancer. To watch Trent coach his children in music, homework, or just life in general was awesome. His patience and care for them came through again and again. Spending time with them was most important to him. This photo was taken from one of his last hospital stays. They had just been playing video games with his coaching and encouragement. You may ask, what's up with the mustaches on the kids? That all came about from a cup of coffee, or I probably should say latte. Trent and I had a kind of a running joke over the years, and this will kind of dovetail with what Sarah said earlier. I was more of a K-cup Folgers kind of guy, and he was more of the gourmet coffee bean person. Edwin and I had gone on the adventure to find good coffee for Trent, while he spent some daddy-daughter time with Serenia. The mustaches were a promo item from the coffee shop that they gave Edwin one, and as only a good brother would do, he asked, "Can I have one for my sister too?" Gotta love that kid. Trent, while your journey on this earth is over, your legacy will live on through your music, students, colleagues, friends, and most importantly, your family. Goodbye, little brother.
I want to acknowledge also how many people we have online. We have a room full of people up here, a balcony full of people. There are also over 30 people online sending their love. No one person can sum up the life of another. Life is too precious to be passed over by mere words. Rather, it must remain as it is remembered by those who loved, watched, and shared. For such memories are alive and unbound by events of birth and death. And as living memories, we possess the greatest gift one person can give another. It is to each of you, then, that the living memories of Trent's life are committed. To your hearts and minds go the enduring remembrances of this precious life.
One held a babe and said, "Speak to us of children." And he said, "Your children are not your children. They are the sons and daughters of life's longing for itself. They come through you, but not from you. And though they are with you, yet they belong not to you. You may give them your love, but not your thoughts, for they have their own thoughts. You may house their bodies, but not their souls, for their souls dwell in the house of tomorrow, which you cannot visit, not even in your dreams. You may strive to be like them, but seek not to make them like you. For life goes not backward, nor tarries with yesterday. You are the bows from which your children, as living arrows, are sent forth."
If Trent could teach us anything more, it would be to appreciate every inch of life. He met each obstacle in his life with great determination and fervor. While our lives are brief sparks in this cosmic dance, they are precious. He sent me this poem when he was having a hard time one night in the hospital. I'd asked him a few times, what words would you like in your service? And this was one that I just ran across in a Facebook message. Things to remember as this world dies. You did not come here to pay bills and die, nor did you come to build the fortunes of those destroying the earth. Imagine instead that you came to gather precious things fallen from the pockets of ancient ones as they fled the desert's march, each a reminder of something they pledged never to forget. Things like how to call birds by name with your whistle, which news to tell the bees, and which to share only with the moon, how to tell a parliament from a conspiracy, a colony from a convocation. Things like nature has no race or nation, class or creed, except when humans seek to deceive. Division designed to sever you from kith and kin and Buddha mind. Things like the antidote to oppression is not freedom, but belonging. The opposite of domination is communion. The medicine you need is always outside your door. And there's likely a wise woman 2 streets away to show you how to use it. These things were left to help us remember how each world before has ended, and how each death became a door to a new life, and how this world wants to take you in her arms and make of you a lover, and have you listen to the land, talk to the stream, and find meaning in the silence of trees and wisdom or the singing breeze. Listen a while to discover the right season for all the 10,000 things, the 99 names we use for our own divinity, how to share power so it cannot be captured by the vain and greedy, how to step into the flow of life and make of the earth a common treasury for all beings, how to map the stars, learn the lesson of each constellation, and still know there is more in heaven and earth than any of us are ever meant to know. So fill your pockets as this world dies, knowing some of it will guide you to the next and some of it will fall to the ground in time to be found by those who bring the world back to life. Thank you for being here to celebrate Trent, all who love him, all who know him. We have bid farewell to Trent. Let us honor in his days and let us honor his life in the days and years ahead by being living memories, by living in the moment, by finding joy in the beauty of music and in a strong cup of coffee, and especially cherishing the love and life that we have in one another.
Please join me in reading the words in your order of service for extinguishing the chalice. The love and light of Trent shines on. May we always be able to see that light is reflected in what we do, and remember and smile knowing that his light is shining from us too.
Deep peace of the running wave to you. Deep peace of the flowing air to you. Deep peace of the quiet earth to you. Deep peace of the shining stars to you. Deep peace of the infinite peace to you. Blessed be.
Please rise and embody your spirit. Laura Getz is going to lead us in Love is All Around Me in This World. The lyrics are in your bulletin. We invite you to sway, sing joyfully, and on the last verse, we're going to leave with joy and sing out on the way as Trent wished to end his service with joy and music, kind of in a New Orleans kind of way. So I have a tub of noisemakers up in the front as well if you want to make a little extra noise. Following the service, Edwin is on it. Following the service, there will be a jam session for those that wish to play music upstairs in the sanctuary or listen. Downstairs, there will be a light reception.
Before we end service, we want to draw your attention to the mosaic in the middle of the stage. Serenia made this in memory of her dad with the help of Don Brisky, and each item on the mosaic has a very special meaning. I think there's coffee and a tree and other beautiful things, and instruments.